Hey guys, Zach here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Godzilla Chibi 6-pack of these, 6 little chibi figures. And I gotta say, I love these things, but before I get into that, I would just like to say I hope you had a happy holiday with all of your loved ones and all that, so yeah, hope you had fun, I hope you got what you wanted and all that, and for the most part, I hope you were good all year, so yeah. Anyway, with all that out of the way, let's get into this. But before we take a look at the figures, really quick, we'll take a quick look at the packaging. And the packaging for these figures look very nice. I really like how this looks. We have the Godzilla Chibi Figure 6-pack right here. We have a nice picture of Final Wars Godzilla right here and right here. Also, I apologize for this bit of fog right here. There was a sticker there covering up Godzilla, and I wanted to get Godzilla there in the city, but I couldn't get that to happen, so yeah. Again, I apologize, but yeah. Anyway, in the back right there it says Godzilla in Japanese, Bandai, 4-Up, and Choking Hazard. On the side, we have a picture of Godzilla fighting Showa Gigan, with Godzilla right here. Bandai.com, and they just 4-Up. And on the back, we get the prototypes of these figures. And I say prototypes because Gigan and Destoroyah look very different from how they look as a whole. Like, here's Gigan next to this Gigan, and as you can see, like, he has one arm in the air and one, near the ground. And this Gigan is just like this. And this Destoroyah has much bigger wings, where this one, his wings are very small. But the rest of these figures look very similar to the actual figures in hand, so yeah. Anyway, underneath, we have all of the monsters here, made in China and legal information, the barcode, and that's pretty much it for the packaging. I gotta say, that is a great packaging, but the thing I don't like is that you kind of have to, like, cut the bottom. Actually, no, I don't mind that. What am I saying? Yeah, that's just me rambling on, but yeah, anyway, that's it for the packaging. Now for the figures at hand, and I think we're gonna start off with Godzilla. And I really love how Godzilla looks here. This is his Heisei Design, and I really do like this a lot. The paint on this figure is really nice. Most of the body is this charcoal, like, blackish, greenish color, which, again, looks very nice. The teeth are painted okay. Not the best, but okay, but the tongue is a purplish color. The eyes are painted white with yellow pupils, as well as a bit of black in there. And the dorsal plates are painted silver. And that's pretty much it for the paint. Oh yeah, also, the claws and toe claws are painted the same color as the dorsal plates. So, now we're done with the paint. And I really like the paint on this figure. There's not much in terms of paint, but it still looks very nice. And at the end of the day, I really love what they did with this figure. So, yeah. The paint on this figure gets a pass. Now, for the sculpt, because, again, there is no articulation. The only thing that I don't like, I would have much preferred if Godzilla was looking forwards instead of to his right, or my right, I should say, but yeah, instead he's just kind of like this, and I don't hate this, but again, I think it would have been nice if he was just looking forward, but that's just me. The sculpt, in terms of everything else, looks great. It looks a lot like a chibi version of the Heisei Design, and yeah, I just love this thing, so yeah. Anyway, the sculpt is really nice too, so the sculpt gets a pass. Now for the detailing, and the detailing on this figure is also pretty impressive. So on the top of the head, we have all these little bumps that look very nice. All the scaling on the face looks very nice as well. The mouth, I'll admit, it doesn't look too great, but that's not really an issue. Most of the body is just the scaling going on, which is very well defined, and it looks very nice. And the scaling in front of me here also looks very nice. Very well defined. At the end of the tail, it does get a little lazy, but underneath, it's also kind of lazy as well. No detailing underneath the feet, just information. And that's pretty much it for the detailing on this figure. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good for what it is, but there are some spots where it could have been better. But the detailing on this figure is pretty good for what it is, so the detailing definitely gets a pass. At the end of the day, Godzilla isn't the best in this little line, but he's still one of my favorites, so yeah. He can go right there. Now for Mothra. And I love what they did with Mothra. This is just a minor nitpick. I would have liked it if she was like standing normal and her head was just looking forward instead of just, you know, having her stand like that, which looks nice as well, but I would have liked it if she was, you know, on all 6 legs, but that's just me. But the paint on this figure, just like with Godzilla, is very nice. The eyes are painted blue. We have a gray beak right here, as well as the underside of the abdomen. We have a bit of gray right here, and we have a orange streak going down the head, and that continues all the way to the back. Some orange stripes right here, and the traditional Mothra coloring, which looks very nice. There is a bit of airbrushing right here at the tips right here, but yeah, that looks very nice as well. There are some spots like right here in the center they forgot to paint, or it just looks a little sloppy, but I think the rest of the paint on the wings look very nice. And that's pretty much it for the paint on this figure. Again, it's pretty good. Some minor things I don't like, but for the most part, the paint looks very nice, so the paint definitely gets a pass. Now for the sculpt, and like I said before, I would have preferred if she was on all 6 legs, but other than that, the sculpt on this figure is very nice and very accurate to Heisei Mothra, so yeah. I really like how this looks. Now for the detailing, and the detailing on this figure, it's not as good as Godzilla's detailing, but it still works. For the head, we have some hairs going along, which look nice. I think the eyes are really nicely detailed as well. They look very insect-like, and again, I do like that. The detailing for the beak looks okay, and the detailing for her abdomen looks alright as well, and her back. I don't really like this seam right here, but again, it's alright. And there's not a lot of detailing on the wings, so yeah, that is kind of a shame. But for the most part, the detailing on this figure is alright, so the detailing gets a pass. Mothra, again, isn't one of my favorites, but again, I really do like her a lot, so yeah. Now for, in my opinion, the best figure in this line, King Ghidorah. I love how King Ghidorah looks. He looks very stylized, just like with all these figures, but for some reason, King Ghidorah just sticks out the most to me. But yeah. Anyway, this King Ghidorah is based off of the 1991 movie Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, which is, again, a part of the Heisei era. So, yeah. In terms of paint, there's not much. Most of the figure is this gold coloring. The eyes are white with red pupils. And there is a bit of black, and that's pretty much it in terms of paint. Not much, but I think the paint on this figure is done really nicely, and gold is, you know, a really nice color, especially for King Ghidorah, so yeah. Anyway, the paint on this figure, it's limited, but it still looks very nice, so the paint gets a pass. No articulation, so the sculpt on this figure, again, is great. I love the sculpt on this figure. It's very reminiscent of the Heisei King Ghidorah. Though something I'm not 100%, you know, like, happy with, or not happy with, but, like, I was gonna say that, like, I wasn't really, like, too sure about, like, these spikes being here, but looking at it from the side, that is supposed to be there, so, yeah. Other than that, the sculpt on this figure is very nice, very accurate to Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, and, yeah, I just really love this figure, so, yeah. The sculpt gets a pass. Now for the detailing, and the detailing, it's alright. It's pretty good, but, again, it's alright. But we have all these scales going along the body, from the neck to the body and legs, going to the tail, and the upper part of the wings, and a bit more on the wings, which they're nicely defined. The bits on the neck, at least in the center, look good, but on the outer heads look alright. No detailing underneath the feet, but the teeth are detailed very nicely for such a small figure. And I think the detailing on the horns look very nice as well. Very well defined. Not pointy at all, which they're trying to make this safe for kids, and I understand that. Because in the movie they were much more sharper than this, but I don't mind at all. So, yeah. And for some reason we have scales on the back of the wings where there aren't supposed to be any scales. I don't know why that's there, but it's there. And that's pretty much it for King Ghidorah. Again, King Ghidorah is my favorite in this set, so yeah, King Ghidorah definitely gets a pass. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll put King Ghidorah right there next to Mothra. Now for Mechagodzilla 2. And Mechagodzilla 2 looks a lot like how he did in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. It's missing some detailing right here on the side right here. But other than that, this is still a pretty solid figure. So in terms of paint, there's not much. It's just a metallic silver with yellow eyes, and that's pretty much it. But that's all you really need, and it still looks very nice. It gets the job done, so it gets a pass. Excuse me. No articulation again, so we're just going to get into the sculpt, and the sculpt on this figure is, again, pretty accurate. He kind of has this buff look to him, and I think that's actually kind of comedical. I do like that a lot. This right here, on his little horn head thing, I don't really like that a lot. But other than that, the sculpt on this figure is pretty accurate to how he looked in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. So the sculpt gets a pass. Now for the detailing, and in terms of detailing, there's not a whole lot, but it still looks nice. We have a panel right there, as well as the other side. The teeth are detailed very nicely as well, and also the eyes look nice as well. We have more metallic bits right here on the top of the head that look very nice. Going to the body, it has a very metallic shape to it, and it actually kind of reminds me of like a mix between Iron Man and Hulk. I know I'm not the biggest Marvel fan, I said that in the previous video, but that's what that kind of reminds me of, and it looks very nice, very metallic, and again, I really do like that. And the tail is detailed nicely as well. In terms of detailing, there's not a lot here, but it still looks very nice, so the detailing on this figure gets a pass. As a whole, Mechagodzilla 2 is definitely not my favorite in this little line, but definitely he's alright. So yeah, I still like him a lot, and he's just going to go right next to Godzilla. Now for the only Showa monster in this line, Gigan. And Gigan is in my opinion, Gigan's probably my least favorite in this set. Mainly because he looks like, in terms of like sculpt, like he reminds me of a minion. And automatically, I just really hate minions. So, yeah. Minions are one of the worst things, in my opinion. I get, kids like them, and, Illumination, they make a lot of money with minions, but I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that minions are trash. But that's just me. If you like minions, well, good for you. Anyway, talking about the paint on this figure, it's not bad. Most of the body is this bluish color. Gigan's usually green, but it's blue here for some reason, but yeah. His eye visor thing is painted red. They didn't really paint this for some reason, but then again, I don't think this is supposed to be painted. But the beak is painted silver, as well as the tongue, and the mandibles right here. His buzzsaw is painted silver as well, and his yellow body detailing thing going on right here is painted gold, just like King Ghidorah. His hooks are painted silver, as well as his hook feet. We have more of that gold color for the wings, back, and tail, with bits of silver. And that's pretty much it in terms of paint on this figure. I'm not gonna lie, it's not terrible, but to me it's just bland. Other than the gold right here and, all over the back, the paint here is just kind of but it's still alright for what it is, so it gets a pass and a half, so yeah. Anyway, that's it for the paint. Now, just like with all the other figures, there is no articulation, so sculpt, as I said before, this thing looks like a minion, and I automatically hate minions, so yeah. But besides that, I think this is a pretty good rendition of Gigan. I mean, his tail, alright, maybe that's a little bit too long, but other than that, I think Gigan, other than the whole minion thing and the long tail, Gigan still looks pretty decent for what he is, so I'd say the sculpt gets a pass, so yeah. Now for the detailing, and the detailing is a bit on the weaker side. His little laser beam thing, I know in Godzilla Final War is a laser would shoot out of this, but I don't know what this does in Godzilla vs. Gigan, but yeah. Anyway, that's detailed pretty good. It's nicely defined. The mandibles here, I think, are a little bit too thick, but again, I can understand why, because, kids might break them. But the tongue is detailed nicely. The only real bit of detailing is on the gold parts right here, and on the tail and wings. Other than that, there's not too much. I mean, the detailing here on his elbow looks okay. And I think all the creases on his legs look pretty nice as well. And honestly, that's pretty much it in terms of detailing. Not much, which is kind of weak, but there's still some, so it gets a pass and a half. Gigan is definitely my least favorite in the set, but I still really like this figure a lot, so yeah. Anyway, he can go right next to King Ghidorah. Now for the... Excuse me. Now for the final figure in the set, Destoroyah. And Destoroyah looks really nice as well. I really like how he looks here. Again, I would have liked it if his wings were a bit bigger, but for the most part, I really do like how he looks. So, yeah. Starting off with the paint on this figure is pretty good. The only thing I don't really like his claws, toe claws, and knee claws, or whatever you want to call them. I think they look a little sloppy, but everything else in terms of paint is really nice. I think the, mandible things right here, I don't know what you want to call these, but these are alright. The teeth are painted nicely, and the inside of the mouth is painted a brownish reddish color, which looks nice. Most of the figure is red, which is, Destoroyah's traditional colors. And we have a bit of airbrushing of tan right here in the center of the chest. The eyes are painted yellow with red pupils, and also a bit of black in there as well. And the horn is airbrushed as the same color as the toe claws and claws. So, yeah. That's pretty much it in terms of paint. In terms of paint, I think Destoroyah is the weakest. I know I said Gigan's my least favorite, but I think in terms of paint, there are definitely a lot of things that are missing on this figure, but the paint on this figure is still really nice, so the paint gets a pass and a half. They skipped out on a lot of things, but again, it still works for what it is, so yeah. Anyway, moving on to the sculpt. The sculpt on this figure is very accurate to Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. Just like with Mechagodzilla 2, he kind of gives off that, buff sort of feel, and I do like that a lot. I guess I would have liked the wings to be a bit longer, but other than that, the sculpt on this figure is still pretty good, so yeah. The sculpt gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the detailing, and the detailing on this figure, again, is really nice. The head detailing is pretty nice as well. There's not much, but it still looks nice. We have some creases and cracks and whatnot, which look nice. The horn is detailed very nicely. I think the teeth are also nicely, and the tongue looks very nice as well. I think most of the detailing comes from the torso right here, which looks very nice, but I think the arms are okay, and the legs are kind of half-assed as well. They still look nice, but still kind of half-assed. I think the back of the figure, again, it looks alright, so yeah. Nothing too crazy going on. We have some seam lines right here where the wings are, but they are cleverly hidden and they don't really show up well, so yeah, that's not really a problem. And other than that, I think that's pretty much it for the detailing. Not much. The wings look nice, but other than that, there's not a lot in terms of detailing, which isn't a problem, but it's still kind of lacking. So the detailing, it gets a pass and a half, so yeah. Anyway, here they all are. Wow, I stutter. Here they all are lined up together. And at the end of the day, should you get these figures? Absolutely. If you are a Godzilla fan and you're not really a collector, you just want something to sit on your shelf, these are the go-to figures to get. Or if you are a Godzilla fan, then again, pick these. Or if you're a Godzilla fan who collects action figures like I do, then again, definitely pick these up. These are incredible. These came out in 2014. I actually got these at a comic book shop in Cape Cod, and when I bought these were the whole set was $25, which really isn't bad for what you're getting. These figures are very nice for what they are. I don't know if they've gone up in price or if they've gone down, but if you didn't get these in 2014, well, quite frankly, I'm kind of ashamed of you, because these things are absolutely amazing. And if you want to get these, I don't know how much they are now. Again, I don't know if they went up or down in terms of price, but what I'm trying to say is that these figures are amazing, and if you don't have these figures, definitely get them. They are well worth your money. Maybe not so much Gigan, but I think the rest of these figures are still very nice. And if you want to know how big they all are, here they all are in front of Dr. Billy Grant. And they are very small, so again, if you just want something to sit on your desk or at work or whatever, then these work very nicely, so yeah. Anyway, that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zek out.